everyone, welcome back to JP WHU TV. It's nice to see you. I hope you're keeping well. This is the preview of West Ham's 17th away game of the 22-23 Premier League season, where we travel to Manchester on Wednesday evening to take on Man City for an 8 o'clock kickoff live on Sky Sports up at the Etihad. As always, this video is sponsored by the channel sponsor, 3retro.com. Please click the link in the description below that will take you directly through to the West Ham section of their website. But as you can see from the animation that's up here, you can also purchase some Man City gear along with track jackets, polo shirts, sweatshirts and t-shirts made by Admiral and Umbro in your respective club colours. So any purchases you make through the link in the description below, the commission that the channel would normally be getting, I'll be sending directly onto the charity Iron Supporting Food Banks. They're based in the Newham area and they're helping those in the Newham area and the Essex County and further afield for that matter, as they are currently supporting 39 separate food banks to help people that are really struggling to put food on their tables, guys. So go grab yourself a really nice retro shirt or a very nice polo, track jacket, whatever you're purchasing. You'll be saving yourself a few quid in comparison to your respective club shop, and you'll be helping those the less fortunate than you and I. So for those, before we get into the rest of the video, I get into the details itself, for those that didn't see the community tab post that I put up over the weekend, unfortunately I'm going to have to call time on this channel. It's been great fun doing it over the last 5 or so years now, 4 and a bit years in the current guise that it is. But yeah, cost and everything else is just outweighing. Unfortunately, it costs money to have to use editing software for the previews and everything else, as you just saw. You know, that preview image coming up, custom made. You know, the intro that you would have seen is custom made. The outro that you'll see on all the videos and also the live watch-alongs, that's custom made. You know, I just can't afford to do it anymore. I don't get enough money, nowhere near enough money back from YouTube in order to cover the costs for everything. So unfortunately, guys, yeah, I don't want to do it, but you know, I'm going to try my best to make sure that I've got some funds available as soon as possible, but it's just not going to happen within the next month or so, I'm afraid, guys. So thank you very much to everybody that's watched the channel over the years, and also for those that have commented. You know, it's been nice to get message from Gonzo, from Hammers Chat Forum, you know, and a few other people that I haven't seen for years. Thank you very, very much for your support. And of course, to the Patreons as well, because Patreon is no longer there as well, because I don't feel it's right to charge you guys when basically the majority of you aren't watching the content anyway. But Wally, Riley, Tony, and also Rick, thank you very, very much for your support over the last few years with Patreon. As I say, I've done it exceptionally cheap because I know how difficult it is for everybody, but it just hasn't been enough people to help me cover the overheads. Believe me, what I get back from YouTube is not even a tenth of what costs me to run this. So yeah, it was only a matter of time, but thank you very much for all your support, guys. It wasn't easy to do. Right, okay, so let's talk about the officials as we always do. The referee for this game is John Brooks. His assistants are Matthew Wilkes and Nick Greenhalgh. The fourth official is Robert Jones. On VAR is Michael Salisbury, and his assistant is Konstantin Hatzidakis. Now, Hatzidakis has been not in the firing line as such, but he has been involved in a few referee decisions over the months that shouldn't have gone the way that they have against us, and to be honest, some for as well, to be honest with you. So I'm hoping he's learnt his lesson, but yeah, we'll come on to that in a little bit while. But anyway, as we remember, we lost 2-0 at home at the first game of the season to City from a penalty from Erland Haaland in the 36th minute and another goal in the second half on the 65th minute. So nobody could have predicted what his record is being, and we'll talk about this in a minute as well, of course. Now, our last 6 trips to the Etihad in the Premier League shows, unsurprisingly, that we've lost all 6. Now, I was genuinely, before we went to record this video, I was genuinely trying to figure out when the last time it was that we beat City. And of course, I know you're screaming at your phones, or you're screaming at your laptops, or you're screaming at your tellies, saying, yes, JP, it was a 15-16 season. Of course it was. You know, but you have to go that far back. That's the thing. You have to go 7 years in order to remember who that was. But that was at the start of the season, of course. You know, that was just, at the start of that season, we'd beaten Liverpool away at Anfield for the first time in 52 years. We'd beaten We'd beaten Arsenal as well, for that matter, and all the palaver that came out of that in terms of the junior that was there, who's no longer with us anymore, unfortunately. He moved on, and looks like he hasn't really set it alight either, for that matter. Granted, that was a Pellegrini City side, but a win's a win, especially when you're coming up against all that money. I mean, what was it? One of their players was the cost of our entire bench, if I remember correctly, in those days, or two of their players was the cost of the entire starting 11. It was one of the two. It was crazy in those days. But that was Bilic for you. Now, David Moyes' away record in the Premier League against City shows a little bit more happy reading for once. He's won 5, drawn 11, and lost. Sorry, drawn once and lost 10. So out of the 16 games that he's won, that's just over a 1 in 5 win ratio. That's not bad. It's not brilliant, but it's much better than our ratio with it. That's for sure. Now, at the time of this recording, City are a point clear of Arsenal at the top of the table with a game in hand over those guys at Arsenal, which you could class this as the game in hand fixture, but Arsenal play Chelsea tomorrow before this game kicks off, so it isn't really at the same point. It is for us in terms of the relegation scrap. Once we play this fixture, we've caught up with everybody around us, pretty much everybody around us. So, yeah, this is a little bit more important on that. Now, City so far, from the 33 games they've played so far, they've won 24, drawn 4, and lost 4, scoring 84 goals and conceding 30 on 76 points. It's very, very tight who's going to win the table. It's almost like when City went toe-to-toe with Liverpool to a certain extent. Actually, it is actually mirroring that, because Arsenal fluffed it over the last few weeks. Liverpool fluffed it in the coming weeks of that. You could argue that the game when City played Liverpool and that fixture was the decider, and you could argue when City played Arsenal a few days ago, that could have been the decider for the table as well. But, City's home form in these, 16 games they've played at home so far, they've won 6, drawn 4, and lost 7, scoring 54 goals and conceding just 16. And then their last 5 games at home, they've won all 5. It's not surprising in any shape or form, especially bearing in mind we all know what City's strengths are, but they are still pretty weak at defending counter-attacks and stopping opponents from creating chances. Now, our mobile centre forward, as I've mentioned many, many times, is out until the start of next season. But I still think we can hit him on the counter attack, especially bearing in mind that Pep's go-to formation at home is a 4-2-3-1/4-3-3. He seems to like to rotate that. And to be fair, during a game, if you're starting either a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-3, you can swap round those formations. You can go about 4 or 5 different formations. We've got the players to do it. City have certainly got the players to swap formations, but Pep is more versatile and more willing to try things than Moyes is. And that's half the reason we're in the situation that we are, which I'll go into in a little while. Now, City's highest goal scorer at home is, no surprise, Erling Haaland, with 21 goals and 7 assists from 14 appearances. So basically, he's been involved in 2 goals each game. That's mad. Nobody would have predicted that he would have gone on to do that run that he has. I know everyone's saying he's a phenomenal player, and I said it right at the start of the season when Roving Benidorm, when we watched the City-Liverpool Community Shield game. You could see his thinking. You really could see what a good player he is. And everyone was saying he's going to score goals, but I genuinely don't think anybody was going to think he was going to score that amount of goals at home just in the Premier League. It's madness. Now, their highest assister at home is, again, no surprise, with Kevin De Bruyne with 8 assists and 5 goals, but he is out due to a knock, and the only other injury that seems to be reported prior to recording this is Nathan Ake with a thigh injury, and even he is being currently assessed. I've got a funny feeling that might have been picked up against Fulham the other night. I'm not 100% sure. Now, as I said, Patreon is now closed for the meantime. So guys, there is no Patreon analysis, so it makes this video slightly shorter than it normally would be. So let's talk about West Ham now. Now, I did say in the preview to the Palace game that the old West Ham was there and it's still bubbling under the surface. Now, it's doing more than that. It's bubbling and rising right to that bubbling surface. And I've seen a lot of people, and I understand the reasons why people are saying it. Do we write this game off and concentrate on the Man United game, which is probably more, if you are the decent argument for it, is to say that the Man United game at home on Sunday is more important than City away. I can see both an argument for both sides. Yes, I can understand why people are saying that, but also at the same point, I don't want us to write this game off in any shape or form. But if it means that we can go out and have a bit of a better impetus going into the first leg of the semi-final against, was it AZ Alkmaar, I think, or AZ Alkmaar, however the fuck you pronounce it, preview coming up soon. Not that there's going to be that much of a preview, so I have no fucking clue who that team is at all. Yeah, I get it. I do genuinely think that we're 5 points clear still. So we need 5 more points maybe 5 more points in order to make sure we're out of the relegation fight and comfortable and not worrying at the last game, game away at Leicester at the end of the season. But yeah, it's a tricky one. Guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments section. As always, do you want to see a good side, or do you want to see a rotated but still a good side, or should we do an Allardyce when we played them in the League Cup and just put juniors out and concentrate on Man United? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. Now, looking at injuries, it looks like Zuma was being assessed for a possible ankle sprain that he sustained against Palace on Saturday lunchtime. So exactly is at least going to be out for this game and possibly for the remaining 4 other games after this. Now, when people say he was out for the rest of the season, even though that's true, it could be true. I do think that's a little bit of making it sound worse than it actually is. Just say he's out for 5 games. That's it. It's 6 and 2-3s granted, because it's 5 games up until this fixture. It's 5 games left until the end of the season. But to say he's out for the rest of the season makes it sound more dramatic and exaggerated than it currently is. But guys, so the last thing we can talk about, of course, is the starting 11. Now, this is the starting 11 that I'm hoping is never going to happen in a million billion years, and I'm not asking you guys to put me in the comment section what you think Moyes is going to do. I've been asking you for years. Nobody seems to understand this. What you would put as your starting 11 if you were Moyes. Not what you think Moyes is going to do, what you would do as Moyes. Now, I've made a few changes in here, mostly because I do think we need to rotate. But I still think this is pretty much a very strong side. So, guys, this is the starting 11 that I'm hoping we'll get to see against City. Areola in goal, with a back 3 of Kehrer, Ogbonna and Aguerd. Soufal and Emerson as the wing backs, with Bowen, Downs and Cornet in midfield, supporting Ings and Antonio up front. Now, I know a lot of you are not going to agree with me in any shape or form, and that's fine, not a problem. Put your comments section down about who you would pick, not what Moyes would pick, what you would pick, and the formation as well. But guys, thank you to everybody that subscribed recently. We're sitting pretty on 2,273 subscribers. We just need another 7 to get to 2,800. Ideally, within the next 5 or 6 games, I'd like us to, well, more than that, because obviously we're going to try and cover the Europa Conference League games as well. I'd like us to try and get to 2,300. I know it's a bit of a push, but it'd be nice to get the channel off into a very nice stead before the content stops. You know, I've put in a lot of hard work over the years, and you guys just aren't reciprocating, which is the other reason why the channel is closing down. In fact, that's most of the reason why the channel's... Because, as I say, the less views I get, the less money I get from YouTube, and therefore the more expensive this becomes. So it's that vicious cycle. I'm not saying make a profit off you guys in any shape or form, because I haven't. Believe me, I'm making less than... Out of all the money that I put in for all the equipment over the last 5 years, I'm not even making 1% of that money back from YouTube. I generally aren't. But anyway, that's a story for another time. Maybe. But guys, as always, enjoy the rest of your Monday, and we will be doing the watch along for the City game, so come and get involved in that. So it'll be just nice to see you and have a bit of a chat, and hopefully we won't get too many idiots like we've been currently getting, because they think it's funny. and it's not. It's immature, and it's just trolling all over the place. Grow up, grow the fuck up, you lot. Honestly, for those who we've got a great community of people that come back every single game in one way or another. But yeah, that's one of the, it's the minute reason why this channel is closing down, because people don't respect people on YouTube. They just don't. They don't respect the content. I'm not saying just me. I'm saying I'm seeing loads of other channels have had the same problem. But in the meantime, guys, look after yourselves. I hope to see you on Wednesday night, and we'll do a preview for the United game, which is going to be going up on Friday afternoon as well. Excuse me. And also, and then we've got the preview for the first leg of the semi-final in the Europa Conference League. But in the meantime, guys, look after yourselves, take care, and I'll see you soon. All the best now.